Today I put the last 16 different MVPs and their teams into a single elimination tournament. Now there have been a lot of multiple time MVP winners, but we're only going to count each player once on that team. If they won it on multiple teams, like for instance Peyton Manning, who won it on the Colts and on the Broncos, then they count for 2 spots in the tournament. Now I would not have been able to get these rosters done without the help of MaddenRatings.weebly.com. They give you the rosters from every single team going all the way back to like Madden 98. I'll leave the link below if you guys want to check it out for yourselves, maybe build some of these rosters. I used the launch ratings that came out after each of these guys' MVP seasons to build these rosters. Also, Pro Football Reference gave me every single player on these rosters, man. I try to make everyone healthy, so if players got injured during the year, I still put them on the team. And last but not least, you already know face scans are not going to be accurate, man. We had to build hundreds of players from scratch, so all I ask is that you guys destroy that like button. Can we get to 16,000 likes for 16 different teams with MVPs on them, man? It takes ages to build these rosters. Very tedious, so that's all I ask, man. Thank you. And we're going to be on all pro and competitive. So the 16th most recent MVP winner was Terrell Davis in 1998 for the Broncos, and he's going to face off against the most recent MVP winner, Lamar Jackson, in the 2023 Baltimore Ravens. And then the second most recent MVP winner, Patrick Mahomes, in 2022, and his Chiefs will face off against the 15th most recent MVP winner, Marshall Faulk, in 2000, him and his Rams. I used their most recent MVP for seeding purposes, but if you won multiple MVPs, we can use any roster that you won the MVP on. So for instance, Tom Brady's most recent was 2017, but you guys have been saying the 07 team was one of the greatest of all time, so that's the one we used for Brady in this experiment. But let's start the tournament, man. The 2023-2024 Ravens, led by MVP Lamar Jackson. They're an 88 overall, one of the few multiple time winners in this tournament. The 1998 Denver Broncos, this is from Madden 2000. John Elway, Terrell Davis, the MVP. You had Smith and McCaffrey, a wide receiver. Shannon Sharp, defense phenomenal with Romanowski, Trailer, Steve Atwater, Mobley with Neil Smith on the D-line. Trevor Price as well, 89 overall. Very even matchup. Now I'm only going to show highlights in each game until we reach the final 4, but look at Lamar Jackson on the read option. This is why he's so dangerous and why he was able to win multiple MVPs. Huge gain on the ground. He gets them down inside the 5. Very next play, Baltimore going to hand it off to their fullback Patrick Ricard, and the Ravens strike first. But now it's Terrell Davis's turn. First carry of the game, 13 yards. Broncos end up getting 3 points on their first drive. Broncos get a quick 3 and out on defense. Now here comes Elway throwing down the field. He has his receiver Rod Smith, who breaks a tackle, and he's going to take this one the distance. Denver goes up 3 points. Ravens trying to answer right before halftime, 3rd and goal. Down inside the 5. Here comes the blitz, but there's Mark Andrews putting Baltimore back on top. Second half starts with the Broncos in possession. Elway slinging a rock again. This time it's Ed McCaffrey, Christian's dad, making plays in the open field just like his son. It runs in the family, and he's running in for the touchdown. Broncos take the lead back. Jason Elam gonna put the Broncos up 6. Been a dominant game so far from the Broncos in terms of total yardage, and there's a beautiful hit by Steve Atwater, one of the hardest hitting safeties of all time. Brings up a very crucial 3rd and 8. They don't get it. Denver can just run the ball with Terrell Davis, and they could go to the next round. Lamar down the field. Mandrews keeps the drive alive. A few plays later, Lamar off the play action has a man in the end zone. Isaiah Likely gonna give the Ravens the 1-point lead, and it all comes down to this 4th and 12, going for it in their own territory. Last play before the 2-minute warning. Elway with good protection down the field, incomplete. 3rd and goal for the Ravens. Lamar gonna throw it to the middle of the end zone. Now the Broncos have no more timeouts, but they can still tie this one up and send it into overtime. Elway to Rod Smith, who gets a nice gain after the catch, doesn't get out of bounds. We are down to 4 seconds left in this one. Elway has to go to the end zone. He just has to. Here we go. Incomplete pass. Humphrey on the coverage, and the Ravens hold on. Crazy start to the tournament. Lamar and the Ravens are moving on. Our next matchup, we have Patrick Mahomes, the 2022 MVP, MVP, and his Chiefs taking on Marshall Faulk, the 2000 MVP, and the Rams. Chiefs are an 86 overall. Mahomes and this team not only had the MVP on it, but they also won the Super Bowl. Chris Jones, of course, leading the way at D-tackle. A lot of familiar faces to the current Chiefs team. Now, this era of the Rams team had 3 straight MVPs, okay? You're going to see a pretty similar roster in the next matchup when Warner won MVP, but right now it's all about Marshall Faulk. He won MVP during this season. The greatest show on turf, looking like one of the best offenses in this entire video. London Fletcher on defense, manning down the middle. We're in for a treat. So the Chiefs' #1 connection, Mahomes to Kelsey, gets them down the field, and eventually they end up settling for a field goal on their first drive. Marshall Faulk and this offense moving down the field really well. They get in scoring range, and then a couple plays later, here comes Kurt Warner finding his wide receiver Torrey Holt. The Rams go up 7-3. Chiefs trying to get some points right before halftime. Mahomes finds Mecole Hardman downfield, but once again, this Rams defense holding them to 3 points. First drive in half, #2 for Kansas City, and once again, they're doing their thing through the numbers, but can they finally punch it into the end zone? Yes! Noah Gray gets in for Kansas City, and they take the lead back. Here comes the 2-point attempt. Bunch to the left, Mahomes in a shotgun. 5-man rush. Mahomes to the back of the end zone, but his receiver stepped out of bounds first. MVS with the illegal touching, so Kansas City remains up 5. 4th down and 7 on the Rams' next drive. They moved all the way down to field goal range, but they don't want to settle for 3. Kurt Warner dropping back with plenty of time, going to the middle of the field. Torrey Holt bringing it in, and the next 4th down the Rams get, they're actually going to kick the field goal, so I don't know why they went for it earlier in the drive. This right here is the biggest play of the game. The very next Kansas City drive, 3rd down and 6. Rams have to get off the field. They have no more timeouts. Mahomes gonna pass it to Kelsey, and the Chiefs are gonna hold on. So this version of the Rams are going home, but Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, and company still have another chance. Matchup #3, we have Aaron Rodgers, whose most recent MVP was in 2021, but we will be using a 2020 team for this experiment, and they're taking on the 2001 MVP, Kurt Warner, and his St. Louis Rams. Now, of course, Rodgers won it 4 different times, but the 2020 version had a 91 Aaron Jones, had a 99 Devontae Adams, 96 Bakhtiari. So their offense was unbelievable. Defense, you had Za'Darius and Preston, Kenny Clark, Jair, Adrian Amos at safety, a young Rashawn Gary. So I felt like this was a good team to use. Now, Warner won it twice, in 99 and 2001. This version, as you can see, has 4 guys with X Factor, Holt and Bruce at wide receiver, along with Warner and Faulk. Orlando Pace at left tackle, Timmerman at right guard. Defense, Fletcher's up to a 90 with abilities. You have Wistrom. Aeneas Williams, one of the best of his era at cornerback. 2 really good rosters. We go scoreless through the first quarter, but in the second, Rodgers finds MVS to finally get them into field goal range. First play of quarter #2, 3rd down and 6. Rodgers to the end zone. Robert Tonyan puts the first points on the board. Rams offense has been struggling in this one, surprisingly, but 3rd and 1, first drive in half #2. Warner under center. Faulk gonna get the first. Very next play, Warner gonna drop back the pass, and Darnell Savage gonna pick it off, and he's gonna take this one to the crib. Packers up 2 possessions. Meanwhile, the Packers defense forces a punt on the next drive, and now here comes MVP Rodgers, moving them back into scoring range, and eventually he finds Devontae Adams to put them up 3 possessions. This one is a blowout. However, there's still an entire quarter left. A lot of firepower on this offense. I don't want to count them out just yet. Isaac Bruce getting them across midfield. 1st and goal from the 1. Let's see who they decide to go to. Warner going to Torrey Holt, and the Rams are finally on the board. But unless they get a stop on this 3rd and 2, it's not looking good for their chances. Rodgers under center, gonna hand it off to Aaron Jones, who cuts it back but cannot pick up the first. Beautiful tackle. Now the Rams are gonna force a punt.
Fake!
Oh, wait a minute, it's a fake! Oh, he dropped it! That was a great play call, but bad execution. And now the Rams are gonna get great field position. Warner against the 3-man rush, so much time. Oh my goodness, he's gonna go downfield eventually to a wide open Torrey Holt. They're at the 10. Warner is in the zone for the first time in this one. 1st and goal. Another 3-man rush. I don't know why they're not sending pressure. Now it's a 7-point game thanks to Conwell. Here comes the onside kick. Oh, they're not going to recover it. Packers in victory formation, and the Rams had 2 chances in this tournament, and now both of their MVPs are out. Green Bay's headed to round 2. Next up, we have the 4th most recent MVP winner, and that's Tom Brady back in 2017. But once again, we're using the 07 team for this tournament, and they're taking on the 2002 MVP Rich Gannon and the Oakland Raiders. The 2007 Patriots led by 99 overall TB12. Man, they have Randy Moss, 99 overall, a 94 Wes Welker, Maroney, Kevin Falk, Ben Watson at tight end. Offense is a 99, thanks in large part to those names I just mentioned, and one of the best O-lines. I mean, look at this. It's unbelievable, led by Mankins and company. Defense is a 97. Their team is a 98. This is one of the best rosters in NFL history, okay? Asante Samuel, Richard Seymour, Vince Wilfork, Warren, Mike Vrabel with Brewski, Jr. Seau, Adalius Thomas, Rodney Harrison at safety. I mean, it's unbelievable how stacked this team is. On paper, they're a juggernaut. And we know about the history between these two franchises, okay? The Tuck Rule comes to mind. The Raiders, led by, of course, 97 overall Rich Gannon. You have Charlie Garner, Jerry Rice, Jerry Porter, and Tim Brown. One of the best wide receiver trios in this tournament. You have Lincoln Kennedy at right tackle, Rod Woodson and Charles Woodson in the secondary. Gonna try to slow down that Patriots offense. Janikowski and Leckler on special teams. They're gonna need all 3 phases in order to get the W. First drive for New England. Brady and company already across midfield. They're gonna get even closer thanks to Wes Welker. Now it's a first down and goal from the 2. Maroney in the backfield. He's gonna get the carry and the touchdown. New England strikes first. Raiders might have to score on every drive to keep pace. Rich Gannon, keeping that in mind, going downfield, finds Jerry Porter. After a couple more completions, Rich Gannon's now in the zone, and he's looking to tie this one up right to the end zone. He finds his target. Tim Brown knots us up at 7. Big play for the Raiders defense. Have a chance to force a 3 and out. Brady on 3rd down goes to his safety valve, Wes Welker. Here comes Brady off the play action, going to who else but Wes Welker. They're down to the 1. This time they're not going to hand it off. It's going to be another play action and another touchdown. Ben Watson does the honors. Last thing the Raiders want to do is force it just to try to keep pace, and look at what happens. Ellis Hobbs with the INT, and there's nobody in front of him. Patriots are going to go up 2 possessions just like that. Patriots get a stop on defense, and now they're looking to extend their lead. Toss to the left. Maroney with some nice blocks, but what a tackle by Rod Woodson. Now the Patriots are going to save their last time out. This would be a huge goal line stand. Maroney gonna get in this time. It's 28-7. Gonna go to normal speed and see if the Raiders can mount a late game comeback. 1 quarter left, and the Patriots just extend their lead 35-7. First blowout in this tournament comes from the 2007 MVP Tom Brady and his team. 42-14 final score. Dominant performance from New England. They're headed to the Elite 8. Now our next matchup will determine who gets to play this Patriots team in the next round. We have the 2016 MVP Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons taking on the 2003 MVP Steve McNair and the Tennessee Titans. Here are the Falcons, led by 96 overall Matty Ice with Freeman, Kevin Coleman, nasty one to a running back, Julio Jones, Sanu at wide receiver, Alex Mack at center. On defense, of course, Grady Jarrett, Babineau on the D-line, Trufant, Keanu Neal in the secondary, Deion Jones at MLB, 96 overall, Steve McNair leading the way. Now, he was actually a co-MVP with Peyton Manning, who we'll see later on in this video, but he has Eddie George by his side, Derek Mason, a really good offensive line. Defense is nasty though. Hainsworth, Curse, and Carter on the D-line. Keith Bullock at linebacker. You have Samari Roll and Dyson at cornerback, and they have the overall advantage. Titans gonna start off trying to establish the running game. Eddie George to the outside, stiff arms his way for a 15-yard gain. Tennessee's the first team to move in the scoring range. McNair under center, going to the end zone. That's a touchdown. McCarron's with the catch. 7-0. Falcons do nothing with the football on their drive, so here comes Tennessee already back inside the 10. McNair to the end zone. Derek Mason putting the Titans up 2 possessions. Falcons looking to get something going before halftime. Matt Ryan over the middle. Finally, they get across midfield. Matt Bryant gonna get the Falcons on the board with 6 seconds left in the first half. The Falcons are going to come back in this game. They should probably get this stop right here on third down. McNair escaping the pocket, throwing on the run. What a catch by McCarrons. But they hold them to a field goal and keep the deficit at 2 possessions. Last chance for the Falcons, 4th and 19. They are in field goal range, but they're down 14, so you need 2 touchdowns. Matt Ryan gonna go down. Javon Curse getting to the former MVP. 1 first down, and this one's all but over. Steve McNair gonna take off and pick up the first down on the ground. And now his team is headed into the Elite 8. The Falcons go home in round 1. Matchup number 6 of round 1. We have the 2015 MVP Cam Newton and the Panthers taking on the 2005 MVP Sean Alexander and the Seahawks. Cam and Greg Olsen gonna lead the way for this Panthers offense. Phenomenal interior of their offensive line. Ted Ginn at wide receiver 1. Of course, on defense, you have Luke Kuechly, Thomas Davis, Kawan Short, Josh Norman. Gonna need all of them to step up in this one because it will not be easy to stop this Seattle offense. Alexander and Hasselbeck, not to mention Max Strong at fullback. Daryl Jackson with Joe Juravicious. With this vicious offensive line, I mean, Walter Jones and Steve Hutchinson. Tutupu at MLB. Trufant at CB1. This is an elite NFC matchup. Cam Newton finds Corey Philly Brown to move them into field goal range. And a few plays later, Graham Gano is going to give Carolina the 3-point lead. Finally, the Seahawks start running the football. Alexander's first touch goes for a first down. Now they got the run game going. Here comes the play action. Hasselbeck over the middle. Connects with his target. Now the Seahawks are in field goal range. 2nd and goal from the 2. This is prime Alexander territory. They'd be fools not to go to him. Here he goes. Getting some good blocks on the outside. Alexander with the first touchdown of the game. Now we're in the 3rd quarter. Cam Newton has his team inside the 10 looking to take the lead. Here comes the mid blitz. Cam to the end zone. Ted Ginn Jr. puts the Panthers up 3. 3rd and 4. The next Seahawks possession. Here comes Luke Kuechly with the sack. Panthers force a quick 3 and out. Moving on to quarter number 4. Cam trying to get some more points. He goes to Okorji. They're inside the 25. Here comes Jonathan Stewart on the carry. Right up the gut. Great blocks. And another touchdown for Carolina. After Panthers get another stop, they're already back in scoring range. They get this first down. This game is all but over. Here comes the blitz. Greg Olsen with the dagger. So Sean Alexander and company are going home. MVP Cam Newton is headed to the Elite 8. And now the last 2 matchups of round 1 will both feature a version of Peyton Manning. The first one, we have the 2013 Peyton with his Denver Broncos taking on the 2006 MVP LaDainian Tomlinson and his San Diego Chargers. This is when Peyton had over 50 touchdowns, 5,000 yards. One of the best seasons you'll ever see from a quarterback. Demaryius Thomas, RIP, Wes Welker, Eric Decker, phenomenal. Wide receiver core, you have Julius Thomas at tight end. Clayton Vasquez on the offensive line. Defense stacked with Champ Bailey, DRC, Chris Harris Jr., the no-fly zone, man. Von Miller, unbelievable roster top to bottom with Prater at kicker. But LT's one of the best running backs to ever do it. Not to mention who's behind him, Turner the Burner. You have Phillip Rivers, Lorenzo Neal, who was a 98 overall at the launch of the next Madden, Keenan McCardell, Antonio Gates at tight end with a great offensive line. Williams at D-tackle with Castillo next to him. Edwards, Sean Merriman at linebacker, Quentin Jammer and Cromartie at cornerback. 95 overall team, slightly better. The Sheriff starting off very surgical in this one. Finds Wes Welker to move them into scoring range. And then he's gonna go to his tight end, Julius Thomas, to get them the first points of the game. First play from scrimmage for the Chargers. LT out the backfield. He was elite at catching the football as well. And speaking of elite, look at that placement by Phillip Rivers to a receiver down the sideline. It's Keenan McCardell who's going to take this one to the crib. 7 apiece. So unfortunately, some of the footage from this game got corrupted and we missed out on the entire 2nd quarter, but the Broncos scored a touchdown. The Chargers answered with 3 and we pick up in the 3rd quarter. Chargers getting the ball first in half number 2. He gets some nice blocks. He's going to hit this DB with a stiff arm. They're down inside the 15, but that Broncos defense holds up and they force the Chargers to settle for for a field goal. Very next Broncos possession, you're going to see back-to-back lasers from Peyton Manning to Wes Welker, who's up to 5 catches for 80 yards on the game. 3rd and 4 for the Broncos in the 4th quarter now. Peyton going to the outside. It's Eric Decker who's going to turn upfield and get another touchdown on the board for Denver. Chargers trying to keep up with the Broncos. Phillip Rivers going to the air. He finds one of the best tight ends to ever do it, Antonio Gates, who's off to the races. He has the speed to take it the distance, and that's what he's gonna do. But now here comes the 2-point attempt. They have to get in to tie it up, but there's Von Miller with the tackle. The Broncos keep the lead. Chargers desperately need a stop, but I don't think they're gonna get it the way Peyton is playing. Demaryius Thomas moves them inside the 25. Chargers trying to keep this a 1-possession game. They need to hold the Broncos to 3. Peyton with all kinds of time going to the end zone. It's Julius Thomas, and that might be the game. Smart decision by Los Angeles though. They're gonna settle for the 3, go for the onside kick. They have to recover it or else this one's over. Only 1 timeout left for Los Angeles. Snake Kading cannot quite get it to his teammate. Another phenomenal game from both teams, but the Chargers are headed home and Peyton is moving on to the Elite 8. Final matchup of round 1. We have the 2012 MVP Adrian All Day Peterson and the Minnesota Vikings taking on Peyton Manning, who won MVP 4 times with the Colts, most recently in 2009, and that's the version we end up using in this tournament. The Vikings with Christian Ponder at quarterback, and of course a 99 Peterson. Percy Harvin 92 overall with Kyle Rudolph. Pretty solid offensive line, but that D-line might be even better. Kevin Williams, Jared Allen, Robeson, not to mention Winfield at CB1, a young Harrison Smith, Greenway at linebacker, 87 overall team. But the Sheriff is trying to punch his 2nd ticket into the Elite 8, and he has a great supporting cast. Joseph Adai, Reggie Wayne, Pierre Garcon, Dallas Clark, Jeff Saturday at center. On defense, you have Robert Mathis and Dwight Freeney, and then you have Antoine Bethea and Bob Sanders at safety, 89 overall. First drive from the Colts, Peyton still has not thrown an incompletion, and that streak's gonna continue. Garcon with the catch to put them inside the 10. Vikings defense with a nice stop though. Vinatieri gonna give the Colts the 3-point advantage. Vikings do nothing on their first drive, so here come the Colts back inside the red zone. It's Donald Brown on the carry, and he gets them the 2-possession lead. Still waiting on the Vikings to run the football. They have an MVP at RB. Finally, they give him the ball. 3rd down and 8. Colts send a blitz. Ponder over the middle. It's complete. Carry number 2 for Adrian Peterson. There's Dwight Freeney with the crazy block shed to get the tackle for a loss. 3rd down and 12. They're going to the wide receiver screen. Ponder barely gets rid of it. Another 3 and out. So after forcing a punt, here come the Colts trying to add to their lead. Peyton going downfield. Beautiful pass. Reggie Wayne getting the step on Antoine Winfield, and it's a 17-0 ball game. Plenty of time for the Vikings, but the way Dwight Freeney's playing, it's not looking good. 3 rushes and -1 yards for the MVP. Finally, he gets a solid gain. Only 3 yards, but at least it's positive, man. 3rd down and 8. Vikings only have 1 first down on the game. Peterson with the catch, and he can't get there. 1 more touchdown pretty much seals this one up for Indy, and Peyton is going to find Austin Collie wide open. First time in the red zone for Minnesota. First time across midfield, and we're in the 4th quarter. 4th down and 3. Ponder gonna throw it to the end zone. It's a touchdown. They finally get on the board. Here comes the 2-point attempt. They're not gonna give it to Adrian Peterson. Instead, it's Harvin, making this a 2-possession game. Now let's see if they can recover this onside kick. We haven't seen a recovery, and it's not gonna happen. Colts are gonna go for it and try to put this one even further out of reach. It's a touchdown by Donald Brown. Peyton Manning is now gonna have 2 teams in the Elite 8. Meanwhile, Adrian Peterson and company are done. Our first Elite 8 matchup, we have the 2023 MVP Lamar Jackson and his Ravens taking on the 2009 MVP, among others, Peyton Manning and his Indianapolis Colts. Now we saw what this team did in round 1 against the 1998 Denver Broncos and the MVP of that year, Terrell Davis. Now Indy also took care of an MVP running back in round 1, Adrian Peterson, and his Vikings ended up going home. Now they're looking to send another team home in round 2. Ravens start off running the ball really well in this one. Gus Edwards with the first down right there, and they eventually settle for a very long field goal. This is what happened. One of the best kickers of all time, Justin Tucker can do for your team. Ravens go up 3. Here comes Indy on their first possession. Third down situation across midfield. Peyton getting hit as he throws it, and it's right to his receiver, Pierre Garçon, with the first tutty of the game. Time winding down in half number 1. Both teams struggling to get stops. The Ravens gonna get the lead back thanks to Lamar finding his receivers. 10-7 heading into half number 2. Ravens trying to get off the field on this first defensive possession in quarter number 3. Peyton on a 3rd and 11 facing off against the blitz, and he's gonna fumble the football. Beautiful play by Geno Stone off the edge. Michael Pierce on the recovery, and Baltimore has great field position. Ravens trying to get 7 points off this turnover. Lamar to a wide open Mandrews, but look at the tight end fight his way in for the touchdown. It's a 10-point game. Colts still have plenty of time to make something happen. Here comes Peyton to a safety valve. Tight end Dallas Clark, who's gonna get a nice block from his teammate, and it's gonna be a 1-possession game again. So the Colts have already used a timeout. They cannot let Baltimore get another first down, and Gus Edwards is gonna end this ball game right there. The Ravens come out in victory formation, and Lamar is gonna win this battle of MVPs as he sends Peyton and the Colts home. In our second Elite 8 matchup, we have the 2022 MVP, Patrick Mahomes and his Chiefs, taking on yet another Peyton Manning, this time the 2013 version, and his Denver Broncos. So another battle of quarterback MVPs. This time, it's Kelsey with Juju, Tony, Hardman, and company, along with Chris Jones on the defensive end. The team that beat my Eagles in the Super Bowl and did it with an MVP at QB. This Broncos team took care of LT in the 2006 Chargers in their first matchup. Defense was doing their thing against the run. Von Miller making play after play, and it's tough to pass against his secondary. So this is going to be a chess match. Broncos in their first drive already across midfield. Peyton going deep down the middle. He has Demaryius Thomas, who gets the Broncos the early lead. But you already know you can't count out the Chiefs like that. Patrick Mahomes to a wide open Kadarius Toney. He has one man to beat, and he's going to get taken down, but not until after a huge game. Very next play, Isaiah Pacheco to the outside, breaking 1 tackle, breaking 2 tackles, and going in for the touchdown. We're tied up at 7. But Peyton Manning does not take long to answer back. Wes Welker over the middle finds a soft spot, and just like that, the Broncos are already across midfield. This is a ginormous play. Against this Chiefs team, against Mahomes, you gotta get touchdowns. So let's see if the Broncos can do it. Chiefs send a blitz, and it frees up Julius Thomas for another Broncos touchdown. Broncos force a quick 3 and out, and then they move down the field right before halftime. Matt Prater gonna put them up 10 heading into the third quarter. Not to mention they start off with the football in the second half. Peyton to Wes Welker to keep the chains moving on a big 3rd down. However, Kansas City bending but not breaking, holding the Broncos to only 3. But we already know Kansas City will never go away that easily when Mahomes is at quarterback. Touchdown Chiefs, Mecole Hardman making this a 1-possession game again. 3rd and 8, arguably the biggest play of the game. Peyton gonna go to the bottom of the screen. Eric Decker with the first down reception. We've reached the 2-minute warning. Matt Prater with another field goal, giving the Broncos the 9-point lead. Here comes Kansas City though. Less than a minute left. Mahomes to a wide open Kelsey, who's gonna stay in bounds. They're gonna have to use their first timeout. Very next play, Patrick once again passing the ball to a wide open Mecole this time. It's back to a 1-possession game, but since they used that timeout, they have to get this onside recovery or else this one's over. And once again, an unsuccessful onside kick attempt, and the Broncos, led by their MVP Peyton Manning, are headed to the Final Four. They took out a juggernaut in Patrick Mahomes. And now we have the 2021 MVP Rodgers and his 2020 Green Bay Packers taking on the 2015 MVP Cam Newton and his Panthers. Devontae, who's a 99, Aaron Jones, Bakhtiari, you know this team. They took care of the 2001 St. Louis Rams in round number 1, the greatest show on turf. This Carolina team took care of the 2005 MVP Sean Alexander and his Seahawks in what was a battle of NFC MVPs, but this time they're gonna have to deal with a quarterback MVP, and this defense might be up to the task. Kuechly, Davis, Josh Norman. This is a great matchup. Rough start for the Packers run game. Look at that penetration by the front seven of Carolina. But credit to Green Bay for not going away from the run. Aaron Jones making people look silly in the open field. Not one but two defenders he made miss on that run. He picks up the first down. Packers with a great drive going. They've taken the entire first quarter. And here's the first play in the second. Aaron Jones once again making someone miss. This time it's for the touchdown. Meanwhile, here come the Panthers. Third down in their own territory. Cam going down. Christian Kirksey with the sack. Tough start for the Panthers. So the Packers are going to have great field position on their next drive. Aaron Rodgers on the run going to his tight end, Robert Tonyan. Third down and 5. Packers in the red zone. Aaron Rodgers facing some pressure. Going to throw it on the run again. This time it's Sternberger putting the Packers up 14. Cam Newton doesn't want to go out like that though. He cannot put up a goose egg. He has his team moving down the field. Here they go in the red zone. Cam going to hand it off to Jonathan Stewart, who gets some great blocks. And now it's a one possession game. All of a sudden, Carolina has a chance to take the momentum. Third down and 10 for Green Bay. Rodgers to Lazard, who's going to try to get the first down, but that's a great job by the defense of the Panthers, swarming to the catcher. So here come the Panthers, less than 2 minutes left in this one, with a chance to tie it up. Cam going downfield to Greg Olsen. They're inside the 40. Cam in the shotgun. Gonna have 4 opportunities. Remember, this is most likely 4 down territory. He only needs 1. Ted Ginn Jr. ties us up at 14. But there might be way too much time on the clock for Aaron Rodgers. He's in the zone. 34 seconds. 3 timeouts. First play is a dot. Second down and 10. 1 timeout left for Green Bay. Play action. Rodgers with all kinds of time. Gonna find Devontae. And with 2 seconds left, Mason Crosby's gonna kick the game winner to send the Packers into the Final Four. Still a valiant effort by the Panthers. They came all the way back to make this one a very close finish. And now our final Elite 8 matchup. We have Tom Brady, who most recently won MVP in 2017. He's accompanied by his 2007 team, and they're taking on the 2003 MVP Steve McNair and the Titans. Just a quick reminder as to how dominant this roster is on paper. 98 overall, easily the highest we've seen. Offense and defense absolutely stacked. They beat the 2002 Raiders in round 1, and now they're facing off against another early 2000s team, Steve Air McNair, RIP, and his Tennessee Titans. Man, really good offensive weapons once again. 93 overall, one of the higher overalls in the tourney, so they might be able to keep up. Brady picking up where he left off in the last game, going to Welker on the first pass. Then later on in the drive, he's going to his other great wide receiver, Randy Moss, to get them inside the 5. But credit to the Titans defense, stopping them near the goal line. It's going to be a 3-0 ball game. Titans doing a good job on their first drive though. McNair going to Kenny over the middle. But here comes a 4th down and 3. The Titans, instead of trying to tie it up, are going to go for it. Eddie George with the first down. Gotta think this is 4 down territory after going for it on that 4th down. 3rd down and 2. Inside the 5, McNair scrambling, going to dump it off to his running back who can't get there. 4th and inches from the 1. Harrison, one of the few that was in on the tackle. And look at this, the Titans are going to settle for a field goal after going for it earlier in the drive. I don't understand. So both defenses being extremely stingy in this one. Titans get ball to start half number 2, and Steve McNair finds his receiver Calico down the sideline. They're inside the 10. 3rd and goal. They're trying to punch it in, but look at this Patriots defense. Junior Seau right there with the tackle, bringing up a 4th and goal, and another field goal. So no touchdowns as we approach the 4th quarter. And here comes New England on their next drive. Brady has them inside the red zone. 3rd and 5. Moss with 4 catches on the game. There's number 5. Now it's 2nd and goal from the 1. Goal line formation. Maroney in the backfield. He's going to get the carry and the first touchdown of the game. Patriots take the lead. This right here could be the game. 4th down and 10 for the Titans. Down 4 at their own 35. Patriots send a blitz. McNair going downfield. It's incomplete. What a play by Asante Samuel. Look at him leap for that deflection. Calico would have gotten a first down and had both his feet in bounds. Instead, it's Patriots football. A first down right here and the game is over. 3rd and 7. No more timeouts for Tennessee. Brady gonna pass it. Here comes the blitz. Oh, he has a wide open Welker. And New England is the last team headed to our Final Four. Solid tournament by the Titans though. So we have 4 teams remaining in the tournament. On the left side of the bracket, we have the 2023 MVP Lamar and his Ravens taking on the 2013 MVP Peyton Manning and his Broncos. Now, Baltimore just beat a different version of Peyton, the one that won MVP in 2009, and his Indianapolis Colts, so they should be feeling pretty confident. But not only was this the record-setting Peyton Manning, this is also the team that just beat Patrick Mahomes, the 2022 MVP, and his Chiefs, so they should also be feeling pretty confident. First third down of the game for the Ravens, and they're not shying away from the run in this one. Dobbins gets the first. Another third down situation, another first down conversion. Odell on the reception. A few plays later, Lamar gonna go to another great wide receiver on his team, Zay Flowers. Broncos trying to get a goal line stand. It's Edwards on 3rd and goal. Gonna fight his way in for the touchdown. Ravens strike first. Broncos on their first drive. Gonna rely on Peyton Manning and his arm. Demaryius Thomas getting them across midfield. 2-minute warning has been reached. Here comes Peyton going to the end zone. It's Julius Thomas tying us up at 7. Broncos gonna force the Ravens to punt, and they have plenty of time to make something happen. Peyton backed up in his own territory, going over the middle. He has Demaryius Thomas, who's gonna outrun the Ravens DBs and take this one to the crib. Denver strikes right before halftime, and they go up 14-7. Halfway through the third quarter, there's another catch by Julius Thomas. Only one incompletion by Manning in this game. Very next play, Peyton gonna drop back again and right back to his tight end. Julius Thomas puts them up 2 scores. Still plenty of time for the Ravens though. Lamar only has one incompletion on a game, and that's gonna continue. He goes downfield to Zay Flowers. Very next play, Lamar gonna pass it again. Mandrews is wide open and no one's gonna touch him. He makes this a 7-point game again. But I don't know what you do about this Broncos offense. Every single play, there's someone wide open and Peyton finds them with ease. Here we go in the fourth quarter now. Peyton under center. Gonna toss it to Noshawn. Great tackle behind the line of scrimmage by Roquan. Broncos wisely go back to the pass. The way Peyton is playing, it would be foolish not to. He's gonna try to dump it off, but that's a great defensive play. Second incompletion of the game. He's close to 300 yards. Let's see what he does on this 3rd and goal. All kinds of time, man. We gotta give credit to this offensive line for blocking for Peyton. Look at this. He's gonna throw it to a wide open Wes Welker, and it's a 14-point game. Do or die for the Ravens. They have to convert this 4th and 6 to stay alive. Vaughn trying to get the Lamar, but he can't. Bateman on the other end of that one. 2-minute warning has been reached. This time Lamar's going to Zay Flowers, and it's back to 1 possession. But can they stop Peyton in this Broncos offense? Something they have not been able to do all game. Not to mention Manning has his X Factor activated. Now they're going to run the football though. Maybe that's the best case scenario for the Ravens. They send the house on 2nd down. Roquan's in the zone. It's 3rd and 11. They have to get off the field if they want to go to the final game of this tournament. The Broncos run the ball. I don't know why they took the pigskin out of their MVP's hands. I would have trusted him to make a play right there, but the Ravens are going to have no timeouts, but plenty of time to try to tie this one up. Lamar going to a wide open wide receiver, Rashad Bateman through the seams. Here comes the no huddle. Lamar once again going through the seams. Rashad holding on to that one after taking a big hit. Less than a minute left in this one. Lamar going to his tight end Mandrews, who's going to stiff arm his way in for the touchdown and tie us up at 28. 3 timeouts left for the Sheriff though. He has 46 seconds to get them into field goal range for the game winner. Something's telling me he's going to be able to do it. Right back to Julius Thomas. Will we get a game winner right here, or are we headed to overtime? The Broncos are moving on to the finals. An absolute thriller in the first Final Four game. Credit to both quarterbacks. Lamar put on a clinic. Peyton was just a little bit better, man. That was MVP-like performances from both of them. But only one team can move on. And now for our other Final Four matchup. We have the 2020 MVP, Aaron Rodgers and his Packers, taking on the 2007 MVP, Tom Brady, and his New England Patriots. Nothing but elite quarterbacks remain. I mean, you cannot ask for a better Final Four matchup on both sides of the bracket. Packers just took care of Cam Newton and the 2015 Panthers. Meanwhile, TB12 and this Patriots team just took care of the 2003 Tennessee Titans. Man, on paper, they should have the upper hand going into this one. But no matter what the outcome is, we're going to get elite quarterback versus elite quarterback in the finals. First drive for the Packers. Rodgers facing some heavy pressure. He's going to get hit as he throws it. They're going to have to punt the ball. Meanwhile, here come the Patriots. Tom Brady off of play action, going for it all. And he has an open Randy Moss downfield. They're inside the 5. New England in goal line formation. Here comes Maroney, untouched, in for the first points of the game. But it looks like it might be back-to-back punts for the Packers. 3rd and 10 at their own 45. Rodgers downfield finds Lazard. That was a beauty. Patriots have a chance to hold them to 3. They only send 4, and Rodgers has an open Devontae who catches that with Patriots all around him and ties us up at 7. Patriots moving like a well-oiled machine though. Brady finds a wide open Ben Watson. First play after the 2-minute warning. Brady gonna lob this one up to who else but his tight end Watson. Brings up a 1st and goal, and you can see they went to the chew clock. Great time management. Brady right back to Watson for the 3rd time in a row. It's 14-7. Still plenty of time for the Packers to get points before halftime. Rodgers to MVS. Next play, they're going to the running back screen. Aaron Jones getting some good blocks. He's going to go out of bounds past midfield. They end up settling for a field goal, making this a 4-point game heading into halftime. New England starts off with the football though in half number 2. Brady in the zone, and Ben Watson has been dominant this entire game. He gets them inside the 15. Brady a few plays later gonna go to the end zone. That's a great deflection by Jair Alexander. So now he's in the zone. Let's see if Brady decides to go that way, and he does. Ben Watson again. Patriots go up 2 scores. Think it's time for Rodgers to start going to Devontae Adams, and right on cue, he goes to him to pick up the first down. Packers in field goal range, but they're trying to get 7 on the board, and they're gonna do it thanks to Aaron Jones. But now they have to go for 2 to make this a 3-point game. Man coverage, Rodgers throws it right to his lineman, and it's gonna remain a 5-point game. Patriots end up moving down the field, getting into field goal range, and Gostkowski's gonna put them up 8, but it's only a 1-possession game. We've seen him do it time and time again. Rodgers on first down, going to Lazard, who gets a nice chunk right there. A few plays later, Rodgers throwing to the left side. MVS with a nice spin move after the catch. He's gonna turn upfield and get the touchdown for Green Bay. Packers trying to tie it up at 24. Patriots send a blitz, and Tunyon is gonna get the reception in the end zone. We are headed to overtime. Now this is the playoffs, so both teams will possess it no matter what. Patriots will get ball first. Ooh, a holding penalty is gonna back up New England. 2nd down forever. Watson gonna get a chunk of those yards back, making it a 3rd down and manageable. He has 9 catches for over 120 yards. Will Brady go back to him? No, he goes to the screen, but that's great pressure by the Packers front 7, and it's going to be a quick 3 and out. So all Green Bay needs is a field goal. Play action for Rodgers. He's in the zone still. He's going to his tight end, Robert Tunyon, who gets them across the 50. 3rd down and 4, biggest play of the game. Patriots trying to keep them from getting into field goal range, but Robert Tunyon does it anyways. 3rd down and 3. They're trying to get a touchdown, and they're gonna do it. Packers, thanks to Equanimous St. Brown,
are going to the finals.
2 teams remain in this tournament, and it's crazy how the 2 MVPs we have left are the only ones who have 4 MVPs in their career. Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning going at it in the last game. Broncos with a slight overall advantage, but either team could win it. First team to get into the opponent's territory is going to be Green Bay. Rodgers goes right to Tunyon, who already has 3 catches on the game. Very next play, it's a play action. Rodgers rolling out to the right. He's finding Devontae, who gets them inside the 15. First play of quarter number 2, it's going to be Aaron Jones with the carry. He's gonna make someone miss as he scampers in for the touchdown. Broncos trying to get across midfield for the first time. It's 3rd and 13. Peyton to Demaryius Thomas. Beautiful catch in traffic. On to the second quarter. Broncos have had a slow start, but Peyton is trying to change that. He's going for it all. And look at Demaryius Thomas. Just like that, it's 7-all. Final drive of the first half. Rodgers under center. Packers have no more timeouts. He's gonna pass the ball to Devontae, and they're back up 7. So the Broncos do nothing with it on their first drive in half number 2, and Rodgers is going to make them pay for it. Devontae through the seams. They're in Denver territory. Going to be a pretty long field goal attempt for Mason Crosby, but this will put them up 2 possessions if he can make it. The hold is good, the kick is up, and it's a 10-point game. 4th and 5. We are in the 4th quarter now. Broncos still down multiple possessions, but they're across midfield and out of field goal range, so they're going to have to go for it. Here comes the blitz. Peyton to Julius Thomas, who keeps the chains moving. Peyton in the zone with under 4 minutes left. He's going to the bottom of the screen, but it's intercepted by the Packers, and that could be the game. He's going to take this one to the crib. Kevin King puts Green Bay up 3 possessions, and it looks like they're going to walk away with the W. So there you have it. According to Madden, Aaron Rodgers is the best MVP of the last 16 different ones. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you're new. Plenty more videos like this to come in the future. Also like the video if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next